Okay, should be live now. Double check. Okay, welcome to Fireside Chat number 276. Sorry for missing yesterday. Not a ton to go over. I think some of this probably touched on last week, but I think the big talk now is currently related to the whole kind of platoon changes that we've been talking about for quite a while. My initial hope was to kind of get those rolled out right around March 1st. Right now, I would say that we might be moving that timeline back a bit just because I really wanted to get everyone who could possibly need it platoon certified by the end of January, and that has not been happening. So I really would encourage all COs to talk to me and or an Aryan right now are the two that can certify anybody. Conundrum has already gotten certified. He was right in the ball with that, so shout out to him. But me and an Aryan are both. Any CO that is certified can basically certify you. So and anyone can get certified. So even if you're just a Marine or whatever, and you want to get certified for platoon leadership, that's totally fine. And if you do want to start your own platoon, you will have to do it at some point anyway. So yeah, I'm really hoping to get just about everybody certified for that, especially people that are currently leading platoons or that may be in the future or that are kind of considering starting rough platoons or that's been something that's talked about. So trying to get that done ASAP. It's not a really involved process. I'll just kind of go through it. So if you're curious about what it is, it's public. It's in the officer manual. So the officer manual is linked in About WA. You can find that at the very top there. There's a button that takes you right to the officer manual, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah. Yep, officer manual link. So you can open that up and check it out. And the officer manual has been added to. There is a table of contents now at the top. So you can kind of jump between, not that it's like it's just a 10-page document. It's not massive, but let's jump between sections a little bit easier. And you can jump to section 3, platoon leadership, which is everything you need to know. So it basically tells you what needs to be done. Now, it doesn't tell you how to actually do the roster review stuff because we have a whole guide on how to do that pinned in Command Center because that is a little bit of an involved process. Once you know how to do it, it's not that complicated. It's pretty straightforward, and if you've ever worked with spreadsheets a little bit and you take a look at our roster, you pretty much can figure out how it works. But if you're brand new to all that kind of stuff, might take a little bit of figuring out. But the Command Center, the pinned guide in Command Center is very, very step-by-step. It's designed to be usable by somebody who really is super new to the whole thing. So that's one thing, but that's not gone through step by step in this platoon leadership section of the officer manual, which basically just talks about what you need to do and what your trainer will ask you to do to get a certification. There's no time limit or quiz or you're not disqualified if you get something wrong. We really just want to make sure that you know how to do the stuff that you will be responsible for doing if you lead a platoon. So the first thing is doing the roster review. We'll just ask you to do a few members, kind of sample roster reviews. You don't have to do 20 people or something. It's just 3 people. We'll just pick 3 kind of names out of a hat, essentially, and say, okay, pretend you're reviewing these people. Show us that you know how to check their stats with the stat bot, and you can kind of fill out the row for them. So you put in their rank, their house, their family, their name, and so on. The second step is to write a practice situation report. Pretty similar. I mean, situation reports are quite easy. If you look in the SITREPS channel under WAHQ, you can see them, and you can see that they are generally pretty straightforward. The main thing is the active players section, and that's kind of important. It's kind of something that some people have been confused about in the past. And the main purpose of that is tracking not just people who attend events, but also people who are actively playing the game. And that's supposed to be that if you're actively playing the game with WA, I mean, that's great. That pretty much meets all the requirements. We don't have really steep activity requirements. We have had kind of more strict activity requirements in the past, like you need at least 4 messages or whatever. The requirements now are to stay active duty, you just have to be using the server at least once per month. So actually quite generous. So StatBot is really just to check that you have some voice or text activity during the month. Now, to get higher up the ranks than just kind of the standard rank of Marine, you do need to actually be gaming with WA, with some exceptions. I mean, if you're helping out WA in some other way but not gaming, that's fine. If you're very active on Discord but not gaming, that will usually work. All that stuff is in the handbook and about WA. You can read all the different rank sections and see what the requirements are. But kind of wandering away from the point there, which is the active players section is attempting to capture a good idea of who all in WA is playing that game. So between checking event archives, so who showed up to actual official events, and just anybody, if you're running a platoon in League of Legends, then you should be playing the game. So you should have spotted people that were online playing with WA and kind of make a note of that, even if it's just a mental note, and be able to note that down in the sit rep. The expectation is not that you will guaranteed know everyone who is playing, but hopefully you'll have a pretty good idea. And in theory, it should be pretty hard for somebody to be playing all the time and really interested in ranking up, and yet somehow not show up to any events and not be noticed by the platoon leader a single time being online. Should be quite difficult to accomplish. Maybe it's possible, but the idea is that it's highly unlikely and it should be caught. So that's what the sit rep is for, is listing who's actively playing the game. It's important because that's how you rank up, as I touched on earlier, in most cases, is by being active in game. So knowing that people are attending events and or being active in game is crucial. So step 1, do the roster review for a few members, sample members. Step 2, write in a practice situation report. And step 3 is to show 3 and 4 both actually are using a bot command. So actually they're quite simple in comparison. The third one is using the Forseti bot, and the fourth one is using the var bot. And each one, you only have one command that you need to ever use. The Forseti bot has a command called /promote. But what that actually can do is assign a rank to somebody. So it has a /promote command and a /demote command. So a /demote command will remove a rank or a role from somebody, and /promote will give them a role. So it's all set up to work through the junior mod role, which is kind of our standard role for anybody who's a platoon leader is going to have that role, and anyone who's Master Chief Petty Officer or higher is also automatically going to have that role, even if they're not leading a platoon. And what it allows you to do is assign any role ranks up to and including Master Chief Petty Officer. So you can actually promote people in your platoon, because if you're a platoon leader, you are allowed to do that. You can promote and demote people within your platoon. You can also assign house roles using the same command, that /promote command. So if you get a new recruit, you can give them the recruit role and the house role. Sanctifico is designed to kind of help out a bit with that. So if you move somebody back and forth between reservist and recruit from guest, Sanctifico will automatically throw the Flame of the Icer and active duty rules on there, which are crucial to actually accessing the server. So Sanctifico does that automatically. You just need to worry about the rank. And if they are a new recruit, you'll have to give them a house role too, because we don't have a method of magically determining which house somebody is. You would have to see who recruited them and give them the appropriate house role. But giving the right house role is not the end of the world. It just gives them access to their house chat, which is nice, so you should try to do it. But the main thing that you just need to do is if somebody's promoted or demoted, you give them the appropriate rank. And one thing that may change for few people that have already done the certification is so previously I had said that you only need to do the /promote command. That's the only command you need to know for Forseti. I think we might make use of some of these /demote commands. The reason is that the idea with this system is that an MCPO cannot promote and demote people beyond their own rank. But actually, if you /promote somebody to, say, Chief Petty Officer, even if they are, say, an Admiral or something, it will actually remove their rank role and give them the MCPO rank. So in theory, yes, an MCPO right now could demote somebody to any rank. That won't actually have a big effect because the actual moderator powers and such are not locked. They're not in the rank role. They're in the moderator roles, which are above, which MCPOs are not able to mess with at all. So you can't actually really mess something up. You would just be changing somebody's role on Discord, like just visually is all. But we don't really want people to be able to do that either. So we may be changing this so that instead of Sanctifico automatically removing their old rank role, you would actually have to slash demote them, which is not something that you'd be able to do to somebody who is above the rank of MCPO. So we will probably add that you actually have to remove their past rank role. You have to give them the new rank and remove their past rank. So I'll probably be amending that. In fact, I might even do that right now during or shortly during my office hours, just adjusting that. But still pretty straightforward. Slash promote gives somebody a role. Slash demote takes a role away. That's all you got to do. You only have to worry about rank, and active duty and flame. Sanctifico just manages that based on if somebody has any rank except reservist and guest. Sanctifico will make sure they have active duty and flame. If they are given the reservist role, Sanctifico takes away the active duty role. If they lose the reservist role, Sanctifico will give them back active duty. If they are a guest or whatever, and they get the role of recruit, then they're given flame and active duty by Sanctifico. So Sanctifico handles all those weird little situations automatically. So you don't have to worry about any of that. You just have to worry about giving them the right rank role. That's all. So that's the purpose of this bot, is to try to empower platoon leaders to be able to promote and demote people in the field that they know personally, so they have that power and responsibility, and hopefully not overcomplicating things by and not overcomplicating things, trying to help people out by having Sanctifico do some of the legwork on some of the roles and such. So, long-winded explanation. Number 4, the final thing is the VAR bot, which is a role bot. Well, specifically what it can do is you can do a slash roll command. And if you look on the officer manual, under platoon leadership, it explains, it has screenshots showing using the command, which are handy to look at. But the slash roll command, VAR is the type of bot. It's called a member list bot. You can slash roll and type in any role on the server, and it will list everyone who has that role. It doesn't ping them or anything, so don't worry about that. What it does is just lists who has the role. So the main reason we want platoon leaders to know this is that you can slash roll and type in, say you're running a League of Legends platoon, you can slash roll LOL players. Type that in. It'll show everyone who has that role for you. You could also do slash roll, I don't know, Command and Conquer players, the Command and Conquer chat. So it's a great way to kind of see who all has the role, because we will be, when we kind of, make platoons a little bit, have those changes to platoons, we're going to create roles for the platoons. So everyone will belong to a platoon. So there will be platoon roles. So you can check that really easily. You could also check the roster to see who's in a platoon. But that doesn't necessarily give you the full scope of who's playing the game. But this will, it'll give you a broader perspective anyway. Because some people don't like the players' roles. They don't like the pings, but they do play the game. But most people will probably have that role. And then if you use this command, it'll list everyone as the role. So it's a really great way to kind of see, okay, how many people do we have in WA or just on the WA server who kind of play this game? Okay, I can see these people. Maybe even reach out to some of those individuals and say, hey, do you want to come to our event? That kind of thing. So really important for, as a platoon leader, you are in charge of WA on that game. So it really behooves you to know who on the server plays. It's really important information to know, and being able to actually share that with everybody else by posting it in the channel with this command as well. Really crucial command, very useful. So yeah, those are kind of the 2 bot commands, is promoting and demoting people, kind of adding and removing the appropriate roles and ranks, and then showing everyone who has a player's role. You can use the slash roll thing to like see who everyone who's in your platoon and post that in the game chat or any chat too. So it's not something that's doable right now because we don't have the platoon roles yet, but we will be rolling that out. That's kind of the big change, is we're going to be putting everyone in a platoon, which really just means giving them a platoon role, and sort of in that vein assigning them a platoon leader who's going to be in charge of promoting and demoting them. it doesn't lock anybody into anything. There's not exclusive platoon chats you're going to be, stuck in. The one, actually, I should mention this because I think, yeah, it's probably been, haven't talked about it since last Fireside. Yeah. So, kind of a big change to that anybody who's actively using the server has noticed is we still have the games category, but there is now a new category called the Frontier. So what the Frontier is, actually might be familiar to some of you who've been around a while, but that's sort of smaller games, basically. So the games category is mostly going to be games we have a platoon on, games that we play a lot, games that are the most active, while trying to keep that category kind of smaller. And everyone is going to see the games category and everything that's in it. Beyond that, the Frontier, all of the channels in the Frontier are actually exclusive to the players' roles. So in order to see the Age of Empires channel, you need to have the Age of Empires role. So what that means is that you can just go to get roles and you can add and remove players' roles, but now, in addition to that will get you, you'll be pinged if people are looking for people to play with, it actually will grant you access to that game's channel under the Frontier. Now, if you just want to see everything, there's a role for that. At the very top of Get Roles, there's global access to all game channels. You can get that with that green and white check mark on a green box, the green check button. Just click that. It'll give you access to all game channels. You can click it again to remove, and you'll lose that. There's also a red X that will remove all of your game players' roles. So if you kind of want to start fresh and maybe just add a couple or something like that, because if you have too many, then you don't have to add and remove them all individually. The one downside of that is it's not going to actually remove your reactions. So it's not going to actually remove the your reactions in the Get Roles channel to all those emoji. So it will remove the roles, but not the emoji reactions. So it's one downside, but we don't really have a way to do that. So. And then let's see. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. So that's kind of going a little bit with the platoon changes. Is that now, like I said, everyone's going to be in a platoon, but it's not going to affect what channels you're in. It's those players' roles that will affect what channels you can see. And we're just doing that because we're getting to the point where the games category was just huge. And yeah, people can just individually mute channels and such, but we figured it would be a little bit easier to just kind of combine that into one thing where it's like, okay, instead of having to add or remove players' roles and add and remove or mute and unmute different channels to kind of fine tune your experience, we just make it easier and say, I mean, even when you join the server, hey, you can just add any games that you play, and then you'll have those under Frontier. And then you will see everything under games, but even some of the channels in there in the games category right now might get moved to Frontier and kind of made, I don't want to call them private, but not just auto public channels. Rather, only the players who play that game will see it. And yeah, so hopefully it shouldn't be a crazy change for anybody. It just will mean that you will have to add an extra line to your roll call. And hopefully, if you're trying to move up the ranks, it will be a little bit easier because you will have somebody who is checking in on you, reminding you to post a roll call if you miss it, trying to get you promoted. I mean, they're supposed to kind of be advocating for you, basically. So that is the hope. Will it all work perfectly? I don't know. Starvault says some of the Frontier channels are blocked. What do you mean they're blocked? You can't see them? I wonder if I messed up permissions for one or two of them. Magic the Gathering. Something wrong with Magic the Gathering. Let's take a look. Ah, yes. you probably can see it, but you can't send messages, because that would be this. That should be fixed now. Interesting. I will have to check if any of the other ones are like that, yeah. Thank you for letting me know about that, yeah. Yeah, I had to set a lot of permissions, so it's quite possible they're a bit messed up. No, you're not ruining Fireside at all. That's perfect. I'm happy to. Yeah, because I mean, I just changed all this stuff, so the easiest thing is if people actually go and take a look, you can discover things. We can fix them. That's always good. Let's see. Yeah, anyway, I think that's about it. So yeah, it's a big change. Let's see. Did I already say officer meeting a week from tomorrow? And of course, the month is wrapping up, so situation reports are due. Roll call is going to be due, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you got that done if you are responsible for that or if you haven't done it.